Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome back to episode 20 of Stellaris as the Chinor Stellar Union. We've just lost one of our scientists again after his ship exploded. Well, his ship didn't explode, but his shuttle exploded while he was surveying an anomaly, so Lucas Campbell died again. Things are getting built, which is good. Now that you have a... Right, you've not got anybody working now. Let's grab somebody from the food tile and put you in there. That should increase the happiness. We can upgrade that building to get some more energy credits.
System survey complete.
One thing I have found in this game is that you'll very often hit the energy cap and go, well, I don't need more energy credits, I'm at the cap. But when you start to get a massive fleet that is essentially saving energy credits by being docked... And in my other game, for example, if my fleet is docked, I make about 25 to 30 energy credits a month. The moment I undock my fleet, I'm on like minus 50. And that is with an admiral that reduces my fleet maintenance cost by 20%. So it does get very, very expensive. We've discovered a crystalline entity. That is unfortunate. I think what we might have to do is come over there and deal with that with the fleet before we go and upgrade. Colony is now established, which is nice. Will take a little bit of time for it to grow, but we can start clearing some of these. We might as well get these cleared as quickly as we can. Because it's a very, very nice world. We'll have all of the tile slots open. As soon as that science ship returns to where it should be, we can go ahead and send him somewhere else instead. We've got a research that we are missing. So what can we grab? A lot of stuff here. Leader lifespan plus 10 years and plus 10% speed. Oh, sector limit plus 1. Not all that useful because we're only using one sector at the minute, and you start with a base of 3. Gene mapping. That's not too bad. You know, it's only 590 research. So let's go ahead and do that one. It shouldn't take too long. 8 months. 8 months to get a tech. That's a bargain. And if it increases our... The way I look at it is this way. It'll pay for itself. So it's only going to take 8 months. It'll increase our leader's lifespan by 10%, which also includes scientists. The longer scientists live, the more XP they're likely to get during their lifetime, which means they'll be able to research faster. Hence, it'll shave 8 months off somewhere. It'll pay for itself. There we go, that ship has arrived back to where it should be, so let's go and survey that system instead, assuming that one's not crawling with nasties as well. So we're up to 5 of 5 planets now. Again, we could still give another one away if we needed to, but I don't think we really need to do that. One thing we will need, though, here is a spaceport. Let's go ahead and go for a missile defense spaceport. Always worth having spaceports everywhere.
System survey complete.
Very, very useful. The Shadowhawk has now finished this system survey. One of the reasons we sent you here is because we wanted to research all of these projects. So one of them has just disappeared. I guess the timers are starting to run out on them now. Yeah, a few of them are actually running down. I would love to do these Cybrex things, but at the moment I don't really have the... a scientist that's a high enough level to even deal with them, so that is fine. Luckily, these borders are expanding quite nicely. They are capturing some of the neighbouring worlds, which is what we wanted. Hopefully, we'll grab this one as well. Not entirely convinced that the borders will grow enough. That's a nice world also on a nice system, just because it has Irelium ore. I am still hoping that we do manage to grab this one, but I'm not terribly convinced that's going to work. But I don't really want to have 3 frontier outposts all right next to each other, even if they all do just belong to the sector. I'd prefer to have one a little bit further out in the hope that they meet up somewhere in the middle. Maybe grabbing one over here, because there's quite a lot of energy in this system. So we could possibly grab that, although that might still be the better one to go for. I'm going to have to give that one a little bit of thought, because I don't know what the best method is for that one. So let's get you down here to this system. I'm not going to get you to survey, I'll get you to get the stuff first. There we go, that genome mapping is already done. That was really quick. Frontier Clinic, nice and useful, because that helps us produce extra food. There's a couple of things here that reveal new resources. I haven't even seen these in my other game. In my other game, I'm in like the year nearly 2400, and I haven't seen some of these resources. So, ship modifier, energy weapon damage plus 10%. That's actually quite nice. Let's go ahead and get that one. Not necessarily the best scientist for the job, but, you know, you do what you've got to do. Why don't you go over there and build mining stations? Because we'll get a little bit of energy from that as well. Things aren't going too bad. Quite happy so far. What have we got here? Some Betharian stone. We can't really get that too easily. I mean, we could go and drop a frontier outpost over here. It's a little bit cheeky. That's quite a nice system as well. The best world it's got is an Arctic world, though, which is not great. But that has quite a lot of stuff there. Another system survey done. We have got... what are these guys here? Prism. Crystalline entities. Why aren't they hostile to us? Oh, no, they are. Science ships. So you went up there to survey because you're dealing with that. We'll leave you until we finish because there's going to be some debris. You have arrived here. You are going to research that first, and then you're going to go and survey the system. Job done. It's nice to be efficient. So we'll wait until we have dealt with the space nasties. Our fleet limit is going up and up and up. We really should consider building more ships. And they got absolutely destroyed, as expected. So let's bring you back home. You're quite a distance from the home planet, actually. Didn't realise we'd actually moved that far. So if you can go and get down there, that'll be fantastic. We've got our science ship. You are going to go and... what have we got down here? Oh, that's the... I went to the wrong place. I should have gone to this one. Go there. Okay, can I queue it up? No, you're not going to let me queue it up until you arrive there. Survey that system. There we go. Went to the wrong place. My own bad. So we've got our... oh, that was quick. We built that space station already. Let's go ahead and grab... let's grab the orbital hydroponics farm. Not that we really need the food. I mean, it is a Gaia world, but there's a lot of research here. There we go. We're clearing all these tiles out, which is nice. Doesn't actually have that much food. I think we'll go ahead on this tile, though, and we'll just go ahead and build a basic hydroponics farm. Unemployment. We have got people with no jobs. So, like this guy here, he's unemployed. He doesn't have... there's a couple of them, actually. There's nothing on these tiles. There's no yields, nothing for them to do. Plenty of food here. So, let's go ahead and build a power plant. We'll go ahead and build a mineral processing plant. We'll just build a silo, actually. And you're going to have the same problem, so we'll go ahead and build a mineral silo there. Obviously, it'll take some time for those things to build, but that is fine. I'll solve the problem eventually. An anomaly with a 30% risk. Do we really want Lucas to attempt this one? A colossal impact crater hints at something big collided with the surface of the moon once. Let's roll the dice. Let's roll the dice on Lucas, see if he survives this one. Yeah, I'm not too sure what... one thing I haven't worked out yet is exactly what makes borders grow. I think on planets, obviously apart from the text that increase your border size, I think it's more down to your population. But obviously that doesn't really affect frontier outposts. So I don't know if these borders will ever expand onto that particular one. And we do have enough influence now if we actually wanted to go and build another frontier outpost over here. What have we got here? A large mineral-rich asteroid collided with Landine 3A at some point during the previous 1,000 years. It must have been a major impact event. An abundance of minerals can now be found on the moon vicinity of the impact crater. Well, that's quite cool. Who was that doing that particular research? Was it thou? Yes. It's not all that much. It's only 3 minerals. I don't consider that to be particularly great. So some of that surface construction is getting done. Most of the home world is happy. Schlerg is not too bad. Still got a tile blocker here that we can't remove, which is a little bit annoying. Could do a few upgrades around here. What could we upgrade this to? Currently, it's only a basic science lab. Wow, if we build a bio lab there, we'll actually get 7 social from that one. Do we want some more minerals? I guess we probably do. You've got to balance out, because every time you upgrade a building, you end up paying more energy credits for it. So you do have to sort of find a bit of a balance. You can actually upgrade that as well. It's always worth getting more energy credits. First Fleet has returned home. You guys are going to go and upgrade now. That's going to cost quite a bit to do that, but it needs doing. So let's get you upgraded. The Karsten has finished surveying this system.
System survey complete.
That's the one that we can't do. So let's go ahead and carry on with these. Getting quite a lot of systems finished now, actually. Do we still have... we've got Lucas. We've got the Githian. Yeah, that's fine. What have we got here? You've not found hostiles, have you? No. Okay, fine. So you need to carry on checking stuff out. You're coming home to repair. The construction ship has finished what it was doing here. Let's go and get the research stations, I think. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I actually want to go and get that other frontier outpost, so that's why I'm sort of hanging off. I know I've got enough influence to do it, but I don't necessarily know if I want to actually spend all of that influence right now. It might be useful if we get more leaders dying. So we have gone ahead and spotted space amoebas, although that's nowhere near where we were, actually. Space amoeba was up here. So I'll have to go and try out some of these other worlds. We will have to then go and send our fleet back up here at some point. It's good practice. Every time you engage one of these space amoebas or crystalline entities or mining drones or whatever, you do actually get experience for your admiral. So it is well worth taking them on. Not to mention, of course, the debris gives you extra research. So it does all balance out somewhere along the line. Okay, yeah, those borders not really growing. And we might want to get some defense stations over here. It's probably not a bad idea. Although I'm not particularly worried that these guys are going to declare war, even though they are my rival. I'm not particularly worried about them. What about some of these guys? Do these like us? These guys are equivalent and they're friendly. We have an embassy with them as well. So if we can actually end up with an alliance with these guys and get the union of Hull Fast Core stuck in the middle, that's probably going to help us out quite a lot. Okay, well that didn't take you long, did it? Let's go ahead and survey that system. It's probably fairly safe because there is a Gagassi Royal World ship down there, so it doesn't look like there's too much of a problem going on. No, there are alien vessels apparently. No, it's just unidentified empire. Is there? There is an unidentified empire, but it doesn't appear to be hostile, at least not yet. A lot of things in this system. We've got a tropical world here. We've got we haven't surveyed that one yet, so we don't know what that one is. I guess it's because this guy's surveying. That's Lucas again, found another anomaly. Massive storms are visible in the upper atmosphere of this gas giant. It might be worth an effort to study them in more detail. Fine, but don't blow yourself up. That's all I'm going to say to that. Crackdown. While it cannot be denied that the intoxicating effects of Ugrim's atmosphere are enjoyable and even helpful in some cases, there is pressure from the more conservative parts of the Chinor-Stellar Union to crack down on possibly addictive gases. So we can issue a special project hallucination removal, or we can leave it as it is. Ugrim is this one here. Atmospheric hallucination. So, right, okay. So that's the thing here. So we get 10% happiness, and we get 10% society output, but we also get plus 10% ethics divergence. I'm going to leave it as it is. I don't mind them being a little bit of ethics divergence. Can actually be useful, and it helps keep the planet happy, so that's fine. We will leave it at that. Let's have a look, see how the upgrade's going. Quite slow, I suspect. Yeah, look at that. Still, it's already about 20% through. Well, we can find out exactly how far it's through by clicking on these guys. It is 30% through. So it's 30% through, and it's still got 750 days to go. So that's quite a long time. We've now actually hit our energy credits cap. So we're going to be hemorrhaging energy credits, but that's fine. Oh, we've got +3 physics on a planet. That's fine. Before we do anything else, let me just go to my sector. Because what we can do, because we actually have quite a lot of energy credits at the moment, is we can go ahead and spend some by just giving it to the sector. And let's tell the sector to just go back on... We're not actually taxing these guys at all at the moment, and they're making a lot of minerals. So let's start taxing these guys a little bit. And now we'll be getting some minerals from them. We're actually taxing them quite heavily now, but I don't care. So we'll go ahead and do that. Construction ship's finished its thing. Science ship has finished its thing. Let's go and keep working on all of the ones that seem safe. Construction ship. Do we want to get those 2 energy credits? I guess we probably do. Not that we need them because we're at the cap. But like I said, As soon as you undock a fleet and you start paying the full maintenance cost, that figure drops quickly. Another hostile fleet, fantastic. So, vapor refining, so that's revealed another resource on the map, which we'll have to see if we can find. So what have we got here? We can clear mountain ranges, could be useful. It's a fairly quick tech actually, so it might be worth doing. Empire leader capacity +1, no desperate rush for that. Let's go get rid of that tile blocker. That'll actually be quite nice. It's only going to take 21 months. So I guess that hostile fleet is... Where is that hostile fleet? Ancient mining drones. You're just not going to show me where it is. I'm guessing it's wherever my science ship is. Possibly. Not you. Okay, I'm going to just admit that I have no idea where that hostile fleet is. There we go. That's a lot of mining drones, actually. That's haze. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to get our fleet up here as soon as they're finished upgrading. That's not a problem. We can do that. And we need to get a scientist up to rank 5. Now then, that new resource... Can we see that anywhere? Just having a look around what's here. Mining station's not my problem. Sometimes you get really lucky and you find that you've already got that resource somewhere, but I don't think we're going to be that lucky. Let's just pause up a second. Well, I can leave it unpaused. I'm not seeing any. There's some over there. That's quite distant though. You do find that the strategic resources in this game are far more spread out than you would ever find them in something like Endless Space or Civ 5 and stuff like that. So that's a little bit weird. So you've retreated back there. Get over there and survey that system then. Construction ship, what do I want to do with you? Well, let's go over here actually and get the research stations. We might as well get this extra social society research. So shame our borders aren't quite big enough to grab Baldurk yet, but bear in mind, of course, this is a actual colony. So as it grows in size, it may well expand enough to swallow that up. So that's fine. We could also go ahead and build a research outpost here on Jumla. Gets 2 more society research from that. Also up here, we could grab some on Rothier. So that is a possibility. We still haven't quite got to Zorak here, but hopefully we will. Unfortunately, there aren't really any planets we can colonise. There's an ocean world here. We don't like ocean worlds at all. We're from an arid world. We don't like water. But we may, which is weird when you consider it. We're a mollusk. Why do mollusks like dry over wet? I don't understand that.
System survey complete.
Okay, Lucas, looks like you're rolling the dice again. There's another 22% failure risk. Our first finds on Opheli 6 point towards more interesting discoveries to be made on the surface. Okay, go for it. See what happens. Shadowhawk, what have you been up to? You finished doing that, have you? Why don't you go and we'll try and survey some of these ones up here, possibly. Quite a lot of stuff we still haven't discovered yet. There's many, many stars in the system that we still haven't discovered. Some we probably will struggle to. It doesn't matter so much when they belong to other empires, because you can't really get into their space. This is another change that Paradox are going to be making in one of the upcoming patches. Instead of other people's borders being closed off to you and you having to sort of bargain and trade for open borders, what they're actually going to do is everyone's borders will be open by default, and you can close your borders at the cost of some sort of you know, like a diplomatic malice. Because the big problem that the game has at the moment is towards the mid game it can be very, very difficult to get to somebody else, because the AI is very, very, very unwilling to ever give you open borders. They're normally quite willing to give you open borders for your civilian ships, you know, construction ships and science vessels. But to get military access, which is a different type of open borders, they really don't like doing it. And it can be very, very difficult. Without wanting to spoil later things in the game too much for people that may not have experienced it, to put things basically, the game does have a series of towards the mid to late game of basically disasters, things that can happen that are a galactic wide threat, And sometimes you have to be able to respond to that threat, and sometimes that threat can be the other side of the galaxy, and if you can't get there because nobody's willing to let you through, it really screws with the game. And that's one of the reasons why I hadn't been recording this for a while, because I was hoping that that sort of thing would be fixed before I got to it, which it probably still will be at the pace we're going, but it is one of the things that needs fixing. So, Old Explorer, located in a remote part of Aphelis 6, the science team of the CUS Uris, isn't the Uris, I wish they'd fix this bloody bug, it's so annoying, has found an out-of-place metallic tablet. It contains basic information about a distant system, using illustrations and what appears to be a periodic table. Science Officer Lucas Campbell has been able to use the information to deduce the location of the potential resources of the system. Interesting. Didn't really seem to give us an awful lot, but that is fine. So all we're really doing at the moment, we've still got our vassals. They seem to be still expanding quite nicely, and I don't mind that. What are they like? They're actually loyal, which is nice. We could actually integrate them. We could start integrating them if we wanted to. Keeping them around as a vassal while they're loyal, though, isn't too much of a bad thing, because they'll continue to build ships. So basically, another question that people have been asking, and it is a fair question. I'm going to go and build that frontier outpost. A question that people do ask a lot is, what is the difference between a vassal and a sector? Well, basically, a sector still belongs to you. It's still part of your realm. Now, they can, of course, try and get independent if they become disloyal enough, but a sector doesn't really produce ships. It doesn't really expand. It doesn't do anything. All a sector does is govern the planets. It decides what buildings to build. It decides where to put the population. I can still go to a planet within a sector, and I can go to... Where's the planet here? I can go to this planet, and I can go and add things to their spaceport. I can build ships at the sector, which is also great because you might be able to build a colony ship. Like, look at this one here. This is what I was saying before. If you get ethics divergence, if we actually look here, you can see that we've actually got a couple of different ethics. So we've got some people here who are fanatic materialists and individualists. We've got some people here who are individualists, so they've lost the fanatic materialist trait. And some of them don't have any at all. And sometimes you'll get ones that have completely different ethics. And you can choose which ones you want to actually make the colony out of. So that's a nice little thing that you can do there. But essentially, the only thing that your sectors do for you is basically provide you with whatever resources you're taxing them from. So if you go ahead and look here, what we are getting from these guys is you can either pick 0, 25, 55, 75% of whatever they make. We're taking 75%. So we're getting 75% of their energy credits. We're getting 75% of their mineral stockpile. And they do have some science of their own. I think we do get a portion of that as well. And we can tell them to focus on military. Now that means they'll build defensive stations. But they'll also work on the minerals and energy credits to fortify those stations. We can tell them to focus on minerals, we can tell them to focus on research, or we can tell them to focus on energy credits. I think at the moment, I'd actually like them to build some defensive platforms, especially as they are bordering with one of our rivals. That'll be the most useful thing. So that's basically what a sector does. A sector is just providing you with additional resources. They don't really provide you with ships. They're not any use in a war. However, the opposite is said for a vassal. A vassal doesn't actually give you any resources. You don't tax them, you don't get anything from them. What you do get from a vassal, though, is their forces. So if you get involved in a war, providing your vassal is loyal, their ships will actually come and join you. Now, unfortunately, at the moment, all they tend to do is follow you around, or at least they're supposed to follow you around. It's a little bit like EU4. It doesn't always work quite the way it should. And that is one of the things that they are also talking about fixing in one of the upcoming patches, to give you more control over the over fleets belonging to your vassals. So in a nutshell, vassals provide you with extra ships and sectors provide you with extra resources. And of course, you can integrate a vassal and basically all of their planets and everything basically become yours. There is a bug with that at the moment. There's a little bit of a strange bug, which is when you fully annex, when you integrate a vassal, every single ship within their system regardless of whether it belongs to them or a third party, ends up becoming yours. I've seen someone post a screenshot, like in this situation here. You can see that we've got these placid these placid leviathans, the gas grazers, that are actually on one of their planets. Now, if the bug was being replicated, if we integrated these guys while that fleet was still there, it would actually become part of our fleet, which is really, really strange. So before we end this video, let's just have a look at what we're going to pick for our next tech. We can have another 10% to our naval capacity. Now that's always worth having, but at the moment we're not even a quarter of the way to 3/4 of the way to our capacity anyway. Uplifting is quite useful feature. Allows uplifting socially integrating species are close to being sentient. So basically, I think you can take primitives and sort of bring them up to your level. Being able to colonise tropical worlds. Now that can be useful, although tropical is quite on the opposite side to arid, so we might not necessarily want to settle those worlds. Interstellar Fleet Traditions is nice. Unlocks the Fleet Academy module, which you can build on space stations, which basically gives your ships a +5 chance to evade, +5% weapon damage, and +3 chance to hit on the ships. And also the Grand Fleet Edict, which is quite expensive to run, 1.7, I think the base is 2 actually, a base of 2 influence each month to run, but it gives you a +35% naval capacity, +15% ship repair speed, and -15% upgrade cost while it is enabled. So that's actually a really, really nice thing to have. And I think probably the most useful, so that's the one that we are going to go for. So enough with that waffling, that is us done for now. We've expanded a little bit, you know, we are starting to sort of expand our borders, and we are starting to go and get some research done, get new techs, and that's what this game's all about in the early days. It's just going ahead and researching. The early part of this game is very much about discovering your neighbours, discovering your surroundings, cherry-picking the best star systems for your empire, and expanding before all of the diplomatic and sort of endgamey stuff comes later on. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Stellaris. I'll see you on the next video, and until then, goodbye for now.